He would always come to me and say, "Sir, मेरा 3,500 है रणजी ट्रॉफी में, पता है आपको बैटिंग में." So I used to say, "Of course, I know you can bat quite well." He would look at me and he would say, "Okay sir, इतना bowling तो हो गया, अभी धूप में क्या करने का, मैं तो नाजुक क्रिकेटर हूँ." Of handling a team, you would always have different conversations, and I'm going to talk about something which would be not heard perhaps in the past, for the simple reason our conversation used to be a bit of a banter. Underneath it there was a lot of seriousness. Yes, there was a lot of seriousness even in a banter. I'm referring to the chats that we used to have with Piyush Chawla when we both belonged to the same franchises for 2 years running. Interesting enough, it was me hooking up with the Punjab Kings 11 then in the year 2013, and then he would always come to me and say, "Sir, मेरा 3,500 है रणजी ट्रॉफी में, पता है आपको बैटिंग में." So I used to say, "Of course, I know you can bat quite well. It's not that I think you're an absolute rabbit with a bat, but the point is that I told him that you have to show the inclination and the interest that you would also want to contribute to the bat. You don't seem to bat in the nets. You don't ask them. How is Darren Lehman going to know what you're capable of? I know what you can do, but it's important for him to see and gain that confidence." He'll say, "नहीं sir, छोड़ो sir, इतना क्या करने का है मुझे बैटिंग के बारे में." So then I would say, then don't come and tell me repeatedly you got so many thousands of runs, so many hundreds there, and also don't rub it in with the fact that you got some runs against TN in the preceding season and stuff like that. So this used to carry on, and then incidentally we both shifted to KKR next year. So what happens, the same conversations, and obviously different phraseology happens, different words are used, but the gist of the conversation is that Piyush Chawla repeatedly tried to convince me that he's capable of batting, and I would always tell him that you need to bat more in the nets. And what happened in KKR was I used to tell him, "See, listen, there it was Darren Lehman who was perhaps not aware of what you're capable of. Here is Gautam Gambhir. He knows you can, but the point is that if you don't want to bat in the nets, if you don't go ask him for batting in the nets, or if you don't tell Trevor Bellis that you would like to bat regularly in the nets, even Gautam is not going to be really keen on using your batting talent, would he?" So he would look at me and he would say, "Okay sir, इतना bowling तो हो गया, अभी धूप में क्या करने का, मैं तो नाजुक क्रिकेटर हूँ." That's his way of saying, let it go. I'll bat only in the matches if required. So we get to the finals. We're chasing 200, and I went up to him. I said, "Look, cut all this nonsense, all this comedy that we've had. No dramas tonight. You will have to contribute. Somehow the situation will be such that you may have to contribute critical runs here. I always maintain the difference will always be the runs that the bowlers score in a match. It's not the batters. They even out somehow. So here, chasing a big target, it will come down to the wire, and you will need to get some runs here. Be prepared for that. Now show to the entire world the talent that you have in your batting. Forget what I know about your batting," was what I told him. As it turned out, Manish Pandey gets out a good night. He gets out and he's like a cat on a hot tin roof, because there's a possibility that we might end up losing because it's getting a little bit tight. So Piyush Chawla walks out to bat, and then he goes with his usual, charming smile of his. He's walking out to bat, and then he gives me a look, cheeky look, and goes out, twirling his bat, holding his arm over, and then Mitchell Johnson comes into bowl when we really needed to get some big runs towards the last 3 overs of the chase. And there was a man, hooking away, sort of, nudging away, and then sort of playing the ramp and whatnot, gets a few very useful boundaries against Mitchell Johnson, and we went on to win the game. As he walked back, and as he ran back, in fact, with absolute delight bordering on delirium, and he ran up to me, he said, "Dekha sir, mera batting." I said, "Mera dekhna chodo, सारी दुनिया देख चुकी है, बस है अभी." So that is how things happen sometimes. You have banter, but underneath it there's a lot of seriousness involved as well. But jokes apart, I had no hesitation in my mind at all. But he could, Piyush Chawla could be very useful with the bat. In fact, towards the end of the previous season in Kings 11, I did sort of pump for him to be promoted against SRH because they had two leg spinners doing well for them, and I felt that he might be useful just as a pinch hitter, which he did reasonably well, I think, when we played in the Opal Stadium. So there are a lot of funny things which become quite serious, and I thought I would share this with you because this is one of them which became very serious, and it also had a very pleasant end too.